You're okay with an MMA champion, but you wanted a boxing champion.
Boxing for sure. The money is more money.
Yeah.
More money. Why not?
Would that be an outcome for him? No.
There's 3 more fights on the contract now.
Okay. So
And I don't want to sign a new contract.
But I think if you get into that top percentage of the sport, the UFC do not pay anywhere near as much as the boxing does. And I know from being around Tom every day that when he spars good boxers, he spars good.
Tom Aspinall has been living a great moment. Cyril Gane is a great fighter. He's experienced, he's seasoned.
He will be strong, he will be lean, he will be fast, he will be quick, and we know he's got the technique. Can he catch Cyril Gane? Yes, of course he can. Can he take him down? 100%. But the big question is, if Tom catches him, if he takes him down, can Cyril get back to his feet? There's a good possibility, right? Getting back to your feet is not that hard if you put the time and effort into it, okay? You don't play the jiu-jitsu game. You don't make mistakes. You shrimp. You push up against the fence. You do a wall walk, okay? You work on your whizzer. You get your underhooks, okay? But the question is, will Tom even try and do that? On his record, 15 wins, 12 knockouts, 3 submissions. So first and foremost, Tom likes knocking people out. But the easiest path to victory is, of course, to take him down. But will he get a little bit,
Tom Aspinall is ready for his first heavyweight title defense at UFC 321 against Cyril Gane, with fans eagerly anticipating what promises to be a thrilling showdown between 2 elite giants. However, Tom Aspinall's father has come up with a surprising idea and expressed that he wants his son to transition to boxing after finishing his UFC contract. He believes the boxing world provides greater financial opportunities and mentions that Tom has 3 fights left before the deal ends, hoping he won't renew it afterward.
you said that you wanted a boxing champion.
Yeah, for sure.
You're okay with an MMA champion, but you wanted a boxing champion.
Boxing for sure. The money is more money.
Yeah.
More money. Why not?
Would that be an outcome for him? No.
There's 3 more fights on the contract now.
Okay. So
And I don't want to sign a new contract.
okay.
Personally.
So that's why, because I asked him. You always talk about Stipe Miocic to have 3 defenses. Would he have 4? But he said no. It's not about mine.
Yeah, no. Only one fight. We only ever think one fight. Cyril, win, lose, next fight.
I'm excited to say Andy told me Tom will be a boxing champion by 2028.
Andy Aspinall thinks Tom's future could be bright in boxing. He feels elite boxers make significantly more money than MMA fighters and views Tom as talented enough to switch sports with ease. Andy mentions that Tom regularly handles himself well during training with professional boxers, proving he's capable of competing at a high level.
Now, something you're pushing him towards now is a potential boxing super fight. You've said that you want to see him go into boxing and earn a big payday. How has Tom received that? Does Tom want to go into the boxing world and maybe fight a Tyson Fury, maybe fight a Deontay Wilder?
I don't know if he does, but I think if you get into that top percentage of the sport, the UFC do not pay anywhere near as much as the boxing does. And I know from being around Tom every day that when he spars good boxers, he spars good.
Andy Aspinall believes Tom performs at his best when the pressure is real, showing sharper instincts in actual fights than in sparring. While the decision for a crossover event under Zuffa Boxing isn't his to make, he's confident Tom possesses the ability to thrive on that stage. Having witnessed Tom go toe-to-toe with elite boxers, Andy feels certain he could deliver an impressive performance in a major boxing matchup if given the chance.
And when he goes in a ring or a cage, he spars much better than when he's sparring to learn.
Okay.
So I think he'd do really well against a real high-class boxer.
Now, with Zuffa Boxing, now under Dana White's leadership,
Yes.
do you think there could be an eventual crossover where you get a massive super fight that could be on a Netflix, that could be under still the UFC umbrella, but it's a boxing super fight? Do you think that could be in the future?
It doesn't depend on me, that depends on Dana White, but I think Tom has the ability, because I've seen him box at the highest level against some real good guys, that he could be at that level.
Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall anticipates his fight with Cyril Gane to unfold as a strategic battle rather than a quick finish. He expects a technical contest where timing and accuracy play a major role, believing the outcome could hinge on sharp striking exchanges and calculated movement rather than sheer power.
Aspinall versus Cyril Gane for the heavyweight champion. How do you see the fight playing out?
I'm going to mix it up this time. I think, I've got everyone's seen me do the quick knockouts and stuff, but I think I might win this one on a close split decision.
Yeah.
Jab off.
You have 26 minutes of total time in your UFC career. Now, That's a crazy set. Do you ever just want to stay in there and show off a little bit, show your skills, or you're happy just getting in there and getting it done quick?
I might show off on this one.
Cyril Gane plans to test Tom Aspinall's endurance like never before. Confident in his conditioning, he's prepared to maintain control through a full 5-round contest or switch gears for an early finish. Gane believes his versatility and experience give him the advantage, whether the fight turns into a drawn-out chess match or a rapid exchange.
Yesterday, immediately, you were pretty confident and you said that you'd be able to drag Tom into deep waters, which nobody has been able to do. What about your style makes you think that you're able to do so?
If I remember, it was a question if it's possible to have a deep water. I say yes, of course. It's everybody know already. I got the experience to go to the 25 minutes, but I can also go in the rush. So everything is possible. This was
Tom Aspinall reacts confidently to Cyril Gane's plan to test his stamina, pointing out that past opponents who made similar claims didn't last long. Though he expects this fight to last longer than usual, he remains certain that his power can shift the momentum instantly with a single well-placed strike.
Yesterday, in response to Cyril's confidence in taking you to deep waters, you said that everybody that said that gets knocked out in the first minute. Is that the official prediction?
No, it's not the official prediction. It just so happens that that's what's happened. Everyone who says they can take me to deep waters just seems to get knocked out. I don't expect to knock him out early, but I don't expect that anytime, so I just need one shot and it changes everything.
Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen warns that the public's perception of Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane could be misleading. He thinks fans may be placing too much faith in Tom while overlooking Cyril's proven ability. Sonnen notes that when exhaustion sets in and a fighter realizes the matchup isn't as easy as expected, mental strength becomes the deciding factor. He reminds everyone that Gane has already shown he belongs among the best and shouldn't be counted out.
We're for sure either overestimating Tom or we're underestimating Cyril, and there is nothing more difficult when you're in a cage fight and you start breathing hard than finding yourself in a situation that is more difficult than everybody around you thought it was going to be, than everybody around you told you it was going to be. It is problematic to find yourself in a 4th round when everybody around you told you you're going to get him out of here in the 1st. So, we have to choose. There's no middle ground. We're either overestimating Tom, who, by the way, might get him out of there in the 1st, but acting like Tom is going to come in, roll him, he's going to put him on his finger, he's going to spin him around like a ball, like this make-believe Superman figure. Or are we forgetting that Cyril is a legitimate #1 contender, a former interim champion, and fought for not 1 but 2 undisputed titles?
Chael Sonnen thinks Tom Aspinall carries the heavier burden going into his fight with Cyril Gane. He points out that Tom isn't just expected to win, but to dominate in a way that rivals Jon Jones's performance. Sonnen notes that even if Gane captures the belt, the spotlight would still shine brighter on Jones, reinforcing his position as the division's biggest figure.
Tom's not only got to handle Cyril, he's got to handle Cyril in like or better fashion than Jon Jones handled Cyril. If Cyril comes out of this match with the world championship, Cyril does not become the greatest heavyweight phenomenon out there. Jon Jones does. The biggest winner of this fight, there is a potential that it is Jon Jones. It's just the pressure of having this common opponent. Now, I share with you, like, Jon didn't have to fight Cyril, but officially that stat exists. Cyril, whatever happened that night from a competitive standpoint, but stayed in the locker room. So Cyril gone, the fighter, the champion, the kickboxer, the #1 contender, did not ever get into the ring that night. But either way, right, that's all part of the game.
Dustin Poirier views the clash between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane as an exciting test of both size and technique. He acknowledges Aspinall's explosiveness, but remains uncertain about how he handles deeper rounds or real adversity. Poirier feels that until Tom proves he can recover from tough moments and push through punishment, it's too early to place him among the most battle-tested heavyweights.
2 huge guys. Honestly, man, I'm not sure. Tom Aspinall is good, but everybody is so high on him. I haven't seen, what's his longest fight in the UFC? I haven't seen the guy ever in the 3rd round. I've never seen the guy have to fight himself back into a fight. I never seen him on the stool bleeding. I want to see him in a real fight. He's been blowing past these guys, and for a reason. He's a great fighter, explosive, skilled, but I've never seen him really test it. So until I see him test it and fight himself back in a fight and win, I can't be on the same train as everybody else, like, waving that flag, because people are talking like he's the next biggest thing, and he might be, but I'm not sold yet.
Dustin Poirier feels that once the fight stretches past the early minutes, Tom Aspinall will be entering unfamiliar ground. He's interested in seeing how Tom performs when the pace slows and fatigue sets in, especially in the later rounds. Poirier believes proving his composure and endurance over time will show whether Tom truly belongs among the elite heavyweights.
Right. If the fight goes past 6 minutes, we're seeing Tom somewhere he's never been, under the UFC lights. I'm not sure before he got to the UFC, he might have had some decisions or some longer fights. I don't know. I don't have his record in front of me, but I want to see this at least go into the third. I want to see this guy. I want to be on the train too. I want to say, hey, this is the guy, but I need to see it.
Paul Felder also talked about this fight and views Cyril Gane as the cleaner and more refined striker with fluid footwork, but he sees Tom Aspinall's quick hands and punching power as serious threats. Watching Aspinall train left a strong impression on him, noting how explosive and precise he looked, moving with the speed and agility of a much smaller fighter.
But how do you see this fight?
Man, I actually talked about this fight quite a bit to just people this weekend, and I agree with you on all that. I think Cyril is the better kickboxer overall. I think he can move, maybe even more fluid. But Tom's speed with his boxing and the power that he possesses. I was watching some of the countdown on the flight home on YouTube, just killing time. They're showing some of his pad work. Holy shit, man. When he's ripping combos on the pads, Tom is unreal. It's like watching a welterweight crack pads, the way he moves.
Yeah. Paul Felder believes the matchup becomes exciting if Cyril Gane succeeds in controlling the stand-up exchanges for extended periods. He favors Tom Aspinall overall, but acknowledges that Gane might gain the upper hand if the bout lasts longer. Felder also highlights that Aspinall's endurance in the later rounds is still unproven since he hasn't fought past the second round before.
I do think this fight could be real interesting if Cyril Gane can keep this fight for extended periods of time on the feet. If I'm giving my pick, I'm still going with Tom Aspinall to get the dub, but I do think that there is a world where if they stay on the feet, Cyril Gane, especially if it drags on and gets into deeper water, we haven't seen that. We haven't had to see that from Aspinall. It's still relatively unknown. He hasn't had to.
Gone past the second round.
He hasn't had to, yeah.
Michael Bisping considers the UFC 321 headliner between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane the matchup fans have been eager to see. He views Aspinall as an exceptional athlete, unusually quick and athletic for his size, with a complete skill set that makes him stand out in the division. Bisping admits he's often praised Aspinall in the past and jokes about how much admiration he's shown for him over time.
Big fight, the main event, the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And I got a lot to say about this. So obviously, Tom Aspinall is a freak of nature. He's gigantic for the weight division. He's agile, he's quick, he's fast, he's explosive, he's well-rounded, all that stuff. You've heard me talk about him and glaze him many times. Oil him up, whatever you kids say these days, right?
Michael Bisping views Cyril Gane as an athlete who can keep up with Tom Aspinall in both speed and movement, noting that Gane might even have the edge in striking technique. Still, he emphasizes that their meeting involves every aspect of MMA, not just stand-up fighting. He believes Gane has worked hard to strengthen his grappling after the setbacks he faced against Francis Ngannou and John Jones, who both exposed weaknesses in that area.
But he's going up against Cyril Gane, and this is where it gets interesting, because Cyril Gane can match him for all those athletic attributes. He is just as fast. He's probably lighter on the feet. He's probably a better kickboxer, probably a little more graceful, probably a little bit more fluent on the feet. Of course, this isn't a kickboxing fight though. It is a mixed martial arts contest, and you know damn well that Cyril Gane knows this, and he's learned from the lessons from losing to John Jones. He lost to Francis Ngannou by getting out wrestled. He lost to John Jones by getting taken down and choked out. And don't tell me that he hasn't worked on this element of his game.
Michael Bisping notes that Tom Aspinall's advantage in the heavyweight division comes from fighting at his natural size, which helps him maintain speed, power, and sharp technique. He thinks Aspinall has the ability to damage or overpower Cyril Gane on the mat, though Gane can stay competitive if he remains composed and limits mistakes. Bisping adds that while Aspinall often looks for a finish with his hands, relying more on his wrestling could be the wiser strategy.
And the thing is at heavyweight as well, he's not necessarily starving himself. When a lot of fighters go down to a weight class, when I'm trying to cut down to 185, which would take a bloody lifetime at this point. But when you're trying to do that, you go into such a calorie deficit that you're losing muscle mass, okay? Tom Aspinall won't be doing that. He will be strong, he will be lean, he will be fast, he will be quick, and we know he's got the technique. Can he catch Ciryl Gane? Yes, of course he can. Can he take him down? 100%. But the big question is, if Tom catches him, if he takes him down, can Ciryl get back to his feet? There's a good possibility, right? Getting back to your feet is not that hard if you put the time and effort into it, okay? You don't play the jiu-jitsu game. You don't make mistakes. You shrimp. You push up against the fence. You do a wall walk, okay? You work on your whizzer. You get your underhooks, okay? But the question is, will Tom even try and do that? On his record, 15 wins, 12 knockouts, 3 submissions. So first and foremost, Tom likes knocking people out. But the easiest path to victory is, of course, to take him down.
Bisping expects Tom Aspinall to use his striking to create openings for takedowns, targeting Ciryl Gane's body and hips to set up control on the ground. He believes Aspinall's quickness and athletic edge will help him secure those positions and lead to a finish. While he anticipates a tough and competitive fight with Gane having his moments, Bisping envisions Aspinall eventually breaking through and ending the bout with a submission.
But the best way to set up a takedown is by using your hands, by throwing with nasty intent to get Ciryl Gane to defend, which then opens up the midsection and the hips to shoot upon. And Tom's got the athleticism and he's got the speed, and I do think he gets the takedown, and I do think he gets the stoppage. It's a 5-round affair. I don't think Ciryl Gane is no punk. I am not underestimating him, and I'm sure that Tom Aspinall isn't. I'm sure that he's going to be a credible threat. I know he's going to land some shots, and it's going to be an entertaining fight. I don't necessarily see this as being one-way traffic the way that Tom has dealt with all his other opponents. I don't see it being a John Jones type finish either. That's not a diss on Tom Aspinall. I just think that Ciryl will have learned from the loss to John Jones and realised, also Francis Ngannou, and realised that he's got some shortcomings and some gaps to fill, some holes in his game. So it's going to be harder for Tom. But ultimately, I still think that Tom Aspinall gets it done. It will be a stoppage.
Furthermore, Arnold Allen favors Tom Aspinall in his upcoming fight with Ciryl Gane, openly backing his fellow Englishman. He mentions that Aspinall rarely spends long in the cage, since he often ends fights quickly through knockouts or submissions. Allen admires his killer instinct, but points out that his forward pressure can leave him exposed. He recognizes Gane's progress in grappling after the John Jones defeat, yet feels Aspinall's wider skill set gives him the advantage to win.
Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinall, heavyweight champion. Obviously I'm biased. I like the English guy. I'm going to back the English guy. Tom does some really nice things. He has like 40 minutes of fight time in the UFC or something crazy, or maybe even career. He's just knocking everyone out first round over and over and over. Knockout or submission. He's such a good finisher. Gane too, great striker, good Muay Thai. He's definitely improved since that John Jones loss. I think he's fixed some holes, learned to wrestle a little bit, brought in some good guys. But I just feel like Tom's just better, and I think he has more options. It is heavyweight MMA, and anyone could get hit and knocked out. Tom does concern me when he wades in with his chin in the air, like he seems to does do that, but you know, it's worked for him recently, and he's knocking everyone out. So
Arnold Allen expects Tom Aspinall to engage in stand-up exchanges with Ciryl Gane early on before switching to his wrestling, much like John Jones did. He predicts the fight will be short, confident that Aspinall's fast-paced approach won't change after his quick win over Sergey Pavlovich. Even so, he acknowledges that Gane's striking power keeps the fight unpredictable.
I feel like this fight, Tom's gonna have to try. Well, not gonna have to, but I feel like he's gonna stand with him a little bit and then try and take him down. Most likely, after seeing John Jones, throw him down and guillotine him with pretty much with ease. But I don't know. Will Tom? Will we see a second round? I don't know. It's hard to say. Will he take a more conservative approach to Gane? Maybe respect him a bit more than other people he's fought. Maybe not. Probably just the same. I mean, he did the same to Spivak, Pavlovich. Absolutely monster, knocking everyone out, scary guy, and they got in the trenches and took him out first round. So I don't think Tom's going to do anything different. I think he's going to try and take him out first round. He could definitely get clipped. Gane is a precise striker, good
Sean O'Malley expects Tom Aspinall to get the job done against Cyril Gane, viewing the fight as a defining one for the heavyweight scene. He speculates that a win might open doors to massive bouts against names like Alex Pereira or John Jones. MMA Guru also backs Aspinall, but anticipates a rough opening round, noting that Gane's movement and deceptive striking could disrupt the rhythm early before Aspinall's accuracy and timing take control for a decisive finish.
John Jones come back. The heavyweight division, it's not deep, but it's interesting at the top. Like we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I do think Tom's gonna get that one done.
Yeah, I got Tom as well, but I think it's going to be like a weird looking fight that we might get into like the late first round or the early second round. Because Gane's moving. He moves.
He does.
Shifty.
He is pretty
He
shifty.
moves about, little flickiness, tappy. He's not like Curtis Blades, who's a bit of a plod.
Curtis
Same
is good.
with Sergey Spivak. They sort of plod in. Pavlovich kind of plods forward as well.
I feel
so
like
they're
Tom's
kind of
gonna-
ripe to be KO'd.
Yeah, and Tom's gonna stalk, dude.
Yeah, Tom's he moves almost like a lighter guy, like a little guy, but he's a big motherfucker, athletic.
That wraps up today's video. What do you think about this matchup? Drop your predictions in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more fight breakdowns.